Hi, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for our weekly track roundup, where I go over what I felt were the best and the worst tracks of the week. Now, of course, before I get into that, I have to tell you guys that this is not a drill. Tour starts this week, everyone. Tour starts this week. People have been asking me, Anthony, why should I go to this tour? What do you do on tour? What the fuck do you think I do on tour? Do you think I just charge you tickets to come stare at me for fucking 90 minutes? Of course, it's a performance. Cal's going to be there. It's lecture. It's memes. It's a good time. I've done several dozen of these so far, and it's always fucking amazing to see you guys and just sort of see you react to the crazy shit that I typically pull off on these things. Now, we have a New Jersey date, a couple of New Jersey dates, New York, Virginia. We're hitting the D.C. area too, North Carolina, Tennessee. We're doing Georgia, South Carolina, Pennsylvania as well, all up and down the East Coast. I'm sorry to those in the Midwest, South, and West Coast. We will get to you guys on the next set of dates that I do. I cannot be sort of doing a gigantic cross-the-country tour this whole way. I have a strict work schedule, so but again, there will be future tours and future groups of dates, and we will make it happen. So all right, so be there, be there, be there at that shit. Not a drill starts this week. I'm going out on the road, and it's gonna be a good ass time. All right. Link down there below, theneedledrop.com/tour for dates, tickets, information, all that shit. General admission and VIP tickets. The VIP tickets are like an early meet and greet type of thing, and we also give the VIPs an exclusive access to an exclusive piece of content day of show. That is a very, very fun piece of content that I think you guys will enjoy. All right, let's get into the tracks. Of course, our Amazon and Turntable Lab associate links are down there in the description too. The Turntable Lab link, use that one if you want to buy some colorful record pressings of albums I reviewed on the channel, some turntables, some audio equipment stuff. We get kickback from it when you use that link, when you buy stuff off that link. And here we are, the worst tracks of the week. What are they? Oh no. My boy Matty. You may know him as the keyboard player from the jazz fusion, futuristic jazz outfit, Bad Not Good. He's kind of been dipping his toe into some solo ventures lately, and I've heard a couple of tracks, this being like the second or third that I've heard, I think the second, and this cut is just kind of really overly reverb, dreamy bedroom pop that I just don't really get much out of. Yeah, I just feel like this is something that really needs to be retooled if it's going to be more interesting. I mean, maybe at the end of the day, this is just kind of a more widely appealing pop aesthetic that he's going for. He doesn't want to just do the whole jazz thing forever or jazz, funk, hip-hop fusion stuff. I appreciate that he's like, trying some new stuff, but not really crazy about these new solo cuts. And then we have this new song with Christina Aguilera featuring Goldlink, which is just a terribly awkward pairing, and I'm just not really sure what I don't know what I think of it. It just seems kind of like a drab and I don't know, a drab tune with a feature that's just kind of fitting a square peg into a round hole. Not only that, but Goldlink seems to take over quite a bit of the song, kind of making Christina play second fiddle on her own track. Yeah, just not really getting a whole lot out of it. All right, let's move on to the tracks that I thought were meh. Thankfully, not a lot of tracks I disliked this week, really. New Smashing Pumpkins song, Solara. The 3/4 of the Smashing Pumpkins have been back doing live dates and that sort of thing, if you guys have been paying attention to the rock and roll news. And, of course, they've been going out on tour playing the hits. And now they're writing and recording music again. And this new song, while it's not as terrible as anything Billy Corgan has pretty much been doing lately with Billy Corgan and Friends, which is what Smashing Pumpkins has been for the past several years, I don't know. It's not crazy amazing either. It just kind of sounds like they're trying to get back in touch with their somewhat grungy 90s roots, Yeah, I won't turn up my nose at it. It sounds okay, but is it one of the best tunes? I don't know. I think if they continue down this road, it may take another couple of songs or at least maybe an entire album for them to kind of work out the kinks. It does sound a little awkward and it does sound a little drab at this point, but hey, you know, maybe they could find a way to sort of light up fire under its ass and make it exciting again. Moving on from there, J-Rock, The Bloodiest, a new single from Jay. Definitely much better and much less repetitive and tedious than his last single. Really could have used a stronger hook or lyrical topical point, but still, I think the production and the flows and lyricism on this track generally are really good. So not really knocking it. It's actually kind of got me a little bit more excited for this forthcoming album release, truth be told. And Norah Jones, My Heart Is Full, new single from her, although Norah, unfortunately, I mean, I heard some decent cuts off of her last record. I know I didn't really cover it in any depth or anything, and I apologize for that, but this new single kind of took me off guard, as it just didn't really sound like in her usual style. It just sort of came off to me as being just overly reverbed and somewhat bland art pop. Moving on from there, this new Axis artist, if you're familiar with the whole K-pop scene, because you know we are continuing to do a little bit of coverage here and there of the ongoing K-pop takeover. The Axis group has this new artist named Katie, and who has been in the music industry in South Korea for a little while now, and she has this brand new track out titled Remember, and it is a hard hitting and gargantuan and epic piece of like futuristic alternative R&B. The music video is gorgeous, and the tune itself, I mean, there are some moments I don't really care for, like some of the over glitzy and wonky synth breakdowns in the middle of the track, but I like her vocals quite a bit, and I think the tune itself is relatively solid. Moving on from there, Interpol has new material out, new record on the way. My significant other loves Interpol. She says she's crazy about the track. I don't know if I'm as nutso about it. It's titled The Rover. I like the vibe and I like the energy. I like the direction the band is taking things in on this track. It's much more exciting and exhilarating than anything that was on the band's past couple of records, in my opinion. Although I wouldn't say I'm like totally nuts for Paul Banks' vocals on this song. They sound kind of shaky and warbly. I mean, he's a guy who's been singing for a long time. I'm sure if his vocals sound like anything on this track, it's 100% intentional. Although I'm not exactly sure if I'm really enjoying that new vocal direction. But maybe it's something that'll grow on me with the release of the new album if we hear more singing in this angle, or maybe this track will just sound better in the track listing. I don't know. But it's not a bad cut. It's not a bad cut. Certainly sounds like they're trying to shake things up a little bit and not just kind of give in to expectations, and I like that. Moving on from there, Gorillaz have a new song out titled Sorcererz, and I don't know, it sort of feels like a bit of a blend between the last two tracks and singles they dropped not too long ago, just sort of like a very synthetic, very groovy, very low-key piece of electronic pop. Not really a whole lot of high points, not a winning hook. There's not really anything texturally or melodically that kind of pops out of the song. It just seems all very middling and so-so. It's certainly pleasant to listen to, but everything is just very washy and bland and not all that interesting in it, in my opinion. I'm just not really sure what else to say about it. It's just kind of a so-so cut. Maybe this will be a Gorillaz ambient pop record or soft pop record. I really have no idea. And let's move on to the tracks that I thought were the best tracks this week. There are actually quite a few tracks this week that I thought were great, that really kind of wowed me and grabbed my attention. Vane, I'm not going to go too much in depth about this song. I've talked about this band pretty much every week. They have dropped a song from their forthcoming record. It's almost like they're kind of spoiling the sound of the album at this point. But if you haven't heard them yet, this new song is titled Doomtech. Check it out along with every other track I'm talking about down in the description where we link all of these songs. The track, again, Doomtech. And if you're really into kind of that peak of 90s and 2000s metalcore, Dillinger Escape Plan, and some Botch, and of course some frickin' Converge, and you're really going to dig on what this band is doing. Every once in a while they put in some interesting and electronic edits in the production and that sort of thing to kind of break things up and make it a little bit more new and cutting edge and forward thinking. And I'm really looking forward to listening to and reviewing this new album when it drops very soon. Moving on from there, Serpent with Feet. Seedless. This project has been totally killing it when it comes to this completely seamless and futuristic and intergalactic blend of art pop with the avant-garde and electronic music, and the lyrics of this particular track are so unsettling, and I don't know, it's like the demise of an emotional link sort of happening before my very ears. It's a very sad tune, and I don't know, it's rare that an artist's sound is so idiosyncratic and just so off the beaten path. It's difficult to describe with accuracy when it comes to kind of like initial impressions of a song for me. But this project is definitely one. Like every time I listen to a new track from this project, and this song is included, it's always like, wow, like what the fuck? You are so out there. You are so fucking out there. And I support you in your artistic venture. So please do have your mind bent and listen to this shit. Thank you. Moving on from there, new track from Idols. If you guys remember their last single, Colossus, I thought was a bit too slow, heavy, overwrought, and I don't know, just not direct enough. This new song over here, Danny Nedelko, is very much the opposite. The band has a new album on the way titled Joy, I believe. And this song over here is a very positive, very forward-thinking, and a very topical track. What sounds like to be a song pretty much about immigration and diversity in the UK, kind of in response to the all of the anti-immigration notions going on in the UK, and the whole Brexit thing. And the music video obviously plays into that thematically as well, featuring this kind of dorky, weird kid dancing around and doing this okay hand symbol around a very diverse array of people who happen to be in the video. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. It's a very fun, interesting song, and I love hearing Idol sort of putting out tracks that are a little bit more throttling and a little bit more, I guess, socially aware and direct about their message too. Because if there was something about their last record that I didn't care for that much, it was that it seemed like they had strong opinions on a myriad of issues, but they would kind of couch them in language or in symbolism that kind of made it hard to sort of tease what they were getting at out. This to me is so much more blunt, but not so blunt. It's just there's no poeticism to it. It feels like really stupid or just like kind of preachy or something like that. It just seems like a good balance. All right, I'm going to move on from there. Gang Gang Dance, which is a group I've never really been crazy about before, but this new song, Young Boy Marika, Made in Amerika, is actually a really cool neo-psychedelic dance track that is equal parts thrilling and chilling. And just really loving the production, the lead vocals, the grooves, a lot of great things about this track. And I think this is like the first time I've looked forward to a Gang Gang Dance record. I probably should be covering this thing once I get back from tour. DeJ Loaf and Leon Bridges, Liberated, new DeJ Loaf single over here. And yeah, I mean, at one point I just thought she was going to end up being a one-hit wonder, and it wasn't really going to go anywhere from that one YouTube hit that she had that sort of blew her up, and I don't even remember the title of it at this point. But to me, this new single over here is great. Like, her singing has improved. Leon Bridges totally kills it. It's fantastic production, and I love the sentiment and the message of the song too. The whole, positivity, love yourself, so on and so forth. Message of the track. Music video is gorgeous as well. Just all in all, just a very tasteful, uplifting tune that I think has a lot of great qualities to it. It's awesome to see her kind of taking some risks, putting out tracks that are not only infectious, poppy, but also thoughtful, and maturing as an artist too. Because, I don't know, for her to kind of get swallowed up into that whole gimmicky trap trend, it sort of seemed like that couldn't have just sort of been what she was all about, you know what I mean? And I'm glad that she's sort of showing her true colors here and kind of really making music that's saying something, and making music that's saying something that sounds great. So, moving on from there, Death Grips, Ha Ha Ha. I'll admit this song took a couple of listens to really kind of get used to, because there are some very odd elements of it. It is really as odd as the black paint cut that I enjoyed quite a bit. It's very trippy. It's very psychedelic. There are some weird samples of Death Grips themselves, like that Destroyer line right at the start. I think it's from the song Lock Your Doors. And Ride's vocals for the majority of the track sort of seem buried under this very bustling and strange production. The drums seem very free and loosely improvised at some points. There are these blaring 3-chord guitar progressions like that pop into the mix every once in a while on the hook, and there's some like DJ scratching noises that pop in as well. It's insane. It's trippy, and it's sort of like everything but the kitchen sink. And it's like they're just kind of weighing their songs down and with all this like sonic muck with this track. And I guess the past couple of others too. This may be Death Grip's most maximal album so far. And I think if all of the singles so far have indicated that they're going in a direction, it's that. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how all this stuff pans out. Moving on from there, Calvi, whose career I've been following for a little bit up until this point. Her music has always had its super bright spots, super bold spots, but then there are also moments that feel equally underwhelming to me. This new project of hers looks like it's going to be pretty nasty, and this single and music video she's just dropped from it, "Don't Beat the Girl Out of My Boy," is incredible. It's like a cool little alternative rock song with some badass guitars and some very bold lead vocals. And I love the lyrics. I love the sentiment of the song a lot. It's wild. It's totally crazy. Shout out to austenyo. This dude donated like a super chat during a recent live stream. And he's like, hey, check out my pop music. And people sometimes suggest their own music during these live streams. And, me and the people listening check them out, and sometimes it's not so good, and sometimes it is good. And this is one of those moments where it was like actually really good. And the dude had a SoundCloud page and a music video for the song as well. So dude came prepared. Dude did his homework. Okay, dude didn't just hand me like some kind of shit demo from whatever place would allow him to upload it. Like, this is like a fully fleshed out, filled out, finished, like little funny alternative dance pop tune with some funky dancing in the music video and some amateurish but endearing lead vocals and very good production, very good beat. So again, nice little piece of romantic alternative dancey pop. Moving on from there, shout out to 88 Rising for this track, Midsummer fucking Madness. Summer Jam of the Year! Oh, God! Tons of people from the 88 Rising roster are on this track, so it's kind of like this big group. Hey, we're making our summer song. Joji is on the hook of this thing and totally fucking kills it on the vocals. The hoo, 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 hoo. Like, dude's really going there into his upper register, hitting notes. Hitting G-spot notes I didn't even know the dude's voice could hit. And it's just a great beat. Nice little, I think, like some acoustic guitars in there, too. It's very pretty. It's very blissful. And I don't know, just seems like they went into it saying, we got to make the jam of the summer. And certainly this should go down as one of the jams of the summer because it's a really good, fun, quality track. And that is it. That is the weekly track roundup. Reminding you again, tour this week, theneedledrop.com/tour, theneedledrop.com/tour. Okay, it's going to be a good time. Come on down. And love you, love you, love you. Again, all the songs, everything I talked about down there in the description box. And I'll catch you in the next video. Anthony Fantano, tour, 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 forever.